Fletcher Show. I'm Scotty Mahan. Joining beside me is Coach Shane Fletcher of the Honey Grove Warriors. Coach, glad you can have us tonight.
Hey, glad to be here.
Before we break down last week's game and match up on Friday against the Blue Ridge Tigers, I just want to take this time and congratulate you on being the 2A Week 2 Coach of the Week. I know you don't like getting these acknowledgments, but we're glad that you can get those.
Well, it's an honor, and it should be Coach of Staff of the Week. It's definitely not just me. I got a great staff that works every day, and it's just a joy to be around them. But once again, it is an honor. It's a big state, and a lot of coaches in this state. Me to win it, this is my second time. It's quite an honor.
So, Coach Fletcher, last week's game went down as a loss in the record book, but how did that loss prepare your team for something bigger down the road?
Well, Winsboro, they were what we thought they were. Year before they were 13-1, got beat by the state champion Malakoff in the fourth round of the playoffs. They did graduate heavy, but when you got that kind of program and you win like that year in and year out, you're going to get a good football team. We did. I thought, we held our own in the first half. We scored first, interception by Asher Price that threw a hot pass and they got for a touchdown. And it got a big nothing. Late in the second, midway through the second, they throw a fade pass on us and fast skip to Texas, and they so what, we'll give you one. And then they kick off, and one of the things, and it's on me. Third phase of the game, that's on me. We didn't cover the kickoff. I told them we was going to fair catch it on Wiggins and kick it deep, and they covered well. So we was going to fair catch, take the ball 25 and roll, and we didn't cover the ball, and it happened. So we're down 14-8, going into halftime. We didn't have a lot of numbers on our side. We suited up 22 kids, and they suited up over 50. And when you do that, they only play one way. It tends to get you, especially in the first year when it's hot and you're not in football shape. And it got us in the second half.
Well, your team was led by offense by Jarnez Dane. He was 16 for 41, 280 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Had two interceptions. Kendal, who's with us tonight, was leading the offense. He was the leading offensive weapon for the Warriors, racking up 150 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns.
Big game for Kendal. Big game for Mez. It was tough for Mez. They gave us a 7-man box all night, and they said, "Hey, you're not going to football here." So we had to throw it. And when you bring in 7 and we've got 5 to block, it makes it tough. So Mez did a good job. He was like he was made out of rubber, man. They'd hit him, he'd bounce back up. But very rarely did I throw the ball 41 times in a game. But one of them deals that it was needed.
I was say, have you ever thrown it 41 times in a game?
There's been times I haven't thrown the ball 41 times in 5 games.
Fix to say that's a big number.
It is.
So how do you? The score ended up being 49-21. How do you feel like your defense played ultimately?
Outstanding. And like I said, the wear and tear of the game. We're a little banged up. Kobe got a stinger in the second half, and Asher's been banged up a little bit. So we're a little beat up yet. But what it did is it allowed some of our younger kids to grow up and to get in the game that is it's like being thrown in the fire, and it forced them to grow up, and they did. And I think that game is going to pay big dividends to us down the road.
Yeah, because what you said after the game, this is a game we're going to think back on when we're in the 3rd, 4th round of the playoffs, and we go back to this game. This was a game that's going to prepare us for on down the road. We took our bumps and bruises, but that's going to be a game that's going to help us out. Who really, you talk about the younger guys stepping up, but who is one that just really stuck out to you that really elevated their game against Winsboro?
I thought Mason Baker had an outstanding game. When Traylon Bailey, we brought him in at running back, and Traylon, if you don't know him, he's a very, very quiet kid. At least he is around me. And, you know, sometimes Traylon's fault is confidence, because he is dang sure athletic.
Oh, absolutely.
He's very Riley Morris-esque,
Yeah.
you know, when he wants to be. But he lacks confidence. And you know, going out there against a top 10 Division I football team, it allowed him to build some confidence. And I think that was huge for him.
Yeah. You know, another one that stuck out to me was Grant Cheney, and we'll talk about Grant later on in the broadcast. But you know, Grant came up with a big interception in the game. You know, I think he had 7 tackles. I'm gonna move down because Becca's telling me we're still echoing. So
Okay.
I'm gonna move down and see if that'll help out any. But yeah, Grant had an interception. I believe he had 5 tackles. But yeah, he was one that really, to me, kind of elevated his game for that.
He did, you know, and then I get off work about 7 o'clock Sunday, and I walk out, and there's some of our boys out there running routes, pitching footballs, you know, and our kids take it personal, you know, when they drop balls. And they take that stuff personal. And when I tell them the fair kids to kick off, they look at me like I'm crazy, because our kids aren't built like that. You know, they want to go, they want to score.
Right. So this week we take on Blue Ridge, and I mean, that comes out of, that's a team that you've probably seen, what, 15, 20 times in your lifetime?
Many times.
Comes out of your old district in 3A, District 7. You know, the last time these two teams met was back in 2017. And the head coach was Kevin Wiggins.
Wow.
I talked to him about that game last night, and then Honey Grove was coached by Gary Schultz.
Right.
So Honey Grove edged out Wiggins Tigers 30-26.
Wow.
So now, you know, they have a new athletic director, new head coach, and Jason Russell. He was the offensive coordinator at Melissa. And so he's going to bring in his high-powered offense. Blue Ridge hired him on January 8th, but, you know, his Tigers returned 8 guys on the offensive side of the ball and 9 guys on the defensive side of the ball. They're averaging 39 points a game, and they're only giving up 20. I mean, I say only giving up. I mean, that's a lot. 21 points per game is a lot in Honey Grove, Texas.
No doubt.
You know, we don't want to give those up, and they've had wins over Farmersville, Commerce, and most recently Bonham. And so Coach Wiggins and I had this conversation Friday night, and he told me they have thrown the ball over 70 times in the first 2 games.
Yes, the last 2 games.
Yeah, the last 2 games. But, you know, what can we look forward to in playing Blue Ridge on Friday night?
Well, one thing, one of the coaches on the staff was with me for 9 years at Leonard, and he was my right-hand man on the offensive game plan. So he knows me better than probably anybody ever in football. You know, he knows how my mind works. He knows all those signals. So we had to really work this week and change everything. And it's been a learning curve, especially Monday. I was so frustrated. But, you know, it got better every day. And, you know, I think that we've got it wrinkled up enough that it's going to take him some time to figure out what we're trying to do.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. So how similar is the offense this week versus what we saw last week?
Very similar. You know, they're Blue Ridge is a big RPO team. You know, it's a run-pass option. And quarterback's very good, and he's very accurate. You know, they come out and they'll fake zone and run the quick hitch, or they'll fake zone and run a slant, or they'll throw the fade on you. Very athletic, skilled kids at the receiver position. Kind of struggle a little bit at running back. I think they've had some injuries. But they're dang sure well coached on offense. Both sides very well coached.
So what would you say would be the keys to victory against Blue Ridge on Friday night?
3 picks.
3 picks.
We can get 3 picks, I think we win the football game. That's going to be.
I mean, that's doable.
Oh, yeah.
That's doable. I mean, with them throwing that many times a game, I mean,
no doubt.
3 picks can change the game. So it's safe to say if we can contain their high-powered offense and establish our run game, that we can do some damage against Blue Ridge.
No doubt. You know, and you know, we really sat back and soul searched as a staff this week, and you know, looked at our weaknesses and our strengths, and then we tried to build this game plan this week around our strengths and not around our weaknesses. And we're not going to be arrogant enough to think, hey, you know, this is what we're going to do no matter what. You know, we're not that arrogant. I'm arrogant, but I'm not that arrogant. You know, so and I think we have a really good game plan, man. I feel really good about it. the kids seem to enjoy it this week. The game plan, like I said, they drove me crazy a couple times, made me yell, made my blood pressure go up. But I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I do too. I'm excited. I look forward to it. Get us back in the win column, get those doubters, church,
There ain't no doubters after playing Winsboro. And another thing about the Winsboro game, when I scheduled that game, I didn't know I was going to play that game without number 3 and number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Those two definitely make a difference.
And I think that's a compliment to what, Coach said from Winsboro that, he was comparing us and Malakoff. We had that conversation, and, it's a totally different game if we had 3 and 5.
I talked to Coach Finney yesterday on the phone, and he said that we'll be the best team they play until they play Malakoff.
That's a compliment.
No doubt.
That's the number 1 team in 3A Division I right now.
No doubt.
So just a reminder, the game is at 7:30 in Blue Ridge. Zach and Gerby's going to be on the call. We're going to be going live about 7:15, and you can watch the game on Tomahawk Sports Media's Facebook or YouTube. So switching gears, we're going to go over to Sooner football. I guess this is turning into a Sooner football broadcast, as bad as I hate to say it.
Suckers just keep winning.
I think their luck's going to change this week.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, you're right. And they beat Tulane last week, 34-19. Jackson Arnold throws a touchdown, and then he runs for 2. So he's pretty versatile. So Tennessee, Rocky Top comes into Norman on Saturday. Both teams are 3-0. Both teams have gone different routes to get 3-0. So, Josh Heupel comes in. He returns to Norman. I think I saw an interview today. He talked about how do you think the crowd's going to react. And he said just jokingly, they're going to leave him alone. They're not going to say nothing to him. But, how big is this game on Saturday night for the Sooners?
I have a fun fact about that game. The last time Oklahoma won a national championship, Josh Heupel was a quarterback, and now he's the head coach at Tennessee, and he's a great offensive mind. But on that same note, Brent Venables is a great defensive mind, and he's built this defense, and they're playing really, really well. And as an offensive person myself, nothing is more frustrating than not being able to run the football. That is the most frustrating thing in the world. And, I think Tennessee is going to struggle moving the football. There's going to be several 3-and-outs on both sides. In Oklahoma, we got 2 receivers we need to get back bad. We need them bad.
I think this game comes down to the fourth quarter.
I think so, too.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter.
It's going to be a good one. I'll be stressed out watching it for sure.
So last week we both went 4-1.
Okay.
Overall, you're winning. I believe it's 8-2, and I'm 7-3. So I'm going to throw some different monkey wrenches in it this week.
There you go.
All right. So first game, we're going to go USC versus Michigan. This is going to be Michigan's real test. Since getting beat by the now number 1 ranked team in the nation, the Texas Longhorns, but USC and Michigan on Saturday.
I just want to be clear to everybody out there, I am not a Lincoln Riley fan. I'm a Sooners fan. I'm not a Lincoln Riley fan, but Michigan can play this year.
Yeah, I'm taking USC as well. Then we got Utah and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it's going to be Pistols fire, and it's going to be Oklahoma State.
I'll go Oklahoma State. Tennessee versus Oklahoma. I think we already know who you're going to pick. I'll go Rocky Top. I'll go Rocky Top.
Not a bad pick. It's going to be a good game.
And then newly ranked Nebraska. I don't know if you've seen them, but I've seen Nebraska's hot videos. I think I need to get something in the works here. But Nebraska versus Illinois.
That's Nebraska all the way. They hired a coach that builds programs.
Oh yeah, he's changed that culture.
And I loved what he said. He's a coach, and he's not what was it he said about Leon? Yeah. But he does. He builds programs. And he had a little stint in the NFL, didn't go real well, but man, at the college level, he's outstanding.
Right. He was at Baylor, and then went to Carolina, and then now he's in Nebraska. And then we got the interstate rivalry. We got the SMU Mustangs versus the TCU Horned Frogs. Both saying Horned Frogs.
Oh, yeah, all the way. TCU. I wish SMU was back.
I know.
I wish. And, they show signs every now and then of being back. I think that's just too much for Mountain Con.
I'll go SMU. I'll go SMU.
Trying to be down worse, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm digging myself a hole. But there's some other games coming on in the next 2 or 3 weeks I can probably get back in. I know there's going to be one that I'm actually going to pick up. It's going to be the Texas-Oklahoma game. So you're going to go Sooners, I'm going to go Longhorns.
I watched Texas play. My goodness, it was good.
They did a speed comparison of Archie Manning and Arch Manning, and he was as fast, mile per hour wise, as Tyreek Hill has been this year. It was outrageous. I'll find it where they actually did the speed test and him taking off, and it was almost close.
Tyreek ain't got full speed there.
I know he must be. He's got six. He's got 6 kids. I mean, he's holding on right now. So. Well, let's talk our love language, barbecue. I told you I was going to talk a little barbecue with you this week.
I like it.
And so the title of this is where the meat meets the I messed this up. Where the meat meets the heat. Right? All right. So let's talk a little barbecue here. So you truly know your way around the grill. I could say, just being around you, listening to you talk, sampling a little food that you've made, you truly know your way around the grill.
I love to make barbecue.
Whether it's low and slow or smoked to perfection, or you're fired up with both flavors, I think you've mastered the art of barbecue. You've catered former players' weddings. So I mean that's a testament to your cooking skills.
By the way, everybody, I'm retired from catering former players' weddings.
So what made you fall in love with barbecue?
It was one of them deals. I was already grown and picked up a little smoker and started messing with it. Kind of liked how it turned out, and my dad, he's always been big into cooking barbecue. He's always done really good, and you got to be patient with that stuff. So I kind of learned a lot from him. And then when I was at Leonard, we started hosting the regional grill college meet every year where I would feed 250 people. So my little smoker would get a workout. I don't know, I guess I got kind of good at it.
So we've talked about this before, pellet or wood?
Oh, stick all the way.
Yeah, you said pellet's cheap.
Cheap.
It doesn't even taste right.
If you can control your fire from work or phone, that's cheap. And you don't
not at all. So let's start it off easy. I know you know some holes in the wall. You know the good places to go eat. Anytime we're going to another city, hey, you gotta go try this. Or Wiggins will say you gotta go here. Right? So name your top 5 barbecue restaurants.
Number 5. Let's go. Hudson's Barbecue. I know it's a lot of people number 1, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't had Franklin's yet. Buddy, talked about Franklin, I haven't had, so I can't put that one in there. Number 4, Salt Lake, and it's the one in Drifter, not the airport, the one outside of Austin. All you can eat, and
they got one at Texas Live now.
Yeah, but
it's not the same.
No, you got to go to Drifter, and it's an experience. They have a great mushroom sauce. That's probably number 4. Number 3, Pecan Lodge, Dallas. Outstanding. You can wait in line. I like Hudson's or whatever, Franklin's. But I went there on a Sunday after a date night, movie night deal. We stood in line and got through, and it was really good. Number 2, featured on Diner Dives years ago, a place called Leo's Barbecue in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It is the best store ribs ever, barbecue ribs I've ever had. They have great smoked ribs. They're outstanding. Number 1, Man, I gotta say, it's 737 Texas. Yeah.
Can you attest for that?
No.
You suck at no, whatsoever. So, what is your barbecue jam? What's that one thing that you perfected that you can go back to?
Well, and here's the deal. Everybody judges barbecue places about different things. I'm not a sausage person. And to me, brisket is the easiest thing in the world to cook. If you want to judge a barbecue place, to me, you eat the ribs, because ribs has a very short window of being not done or mushed. So if somebody can give me good ribs, then they're pretty high on my list. Like I said, man, anybody.
So do you have like a sauce recipe or a dry rub that you do?
Yes.
You ain't telling that secret?
No, I have a mustard sauce that I make, and everybody really likes. It's a chicken sauce. But Coach Wiggins actually every time I'm making this for his house.
Well, I think I owe you one of my apple cinnamon.
Yeah.
I put you something back. I just got to bring it up here.
I'll take it.
So, if you could barbecue with any celebrity, dead or alive, who would it be?
Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay. Okay.
Yeah. That dude he cook anything.
This is probably going to be my favorite question. What is the weirdest or most unexpected thing you've thrown on the smoker?
I've smoked eggs, and actually they turn out pretty cool because the smoke actually permeates a shell, and it makes them look like marble. I've smoked cans of Spam. If you haven't tried that, it's a freaking science experiment, because you'll go after 2 hours putting that Spam on, and that Spam will grow big mushroom head coming out of the top of that can. But I don't know, man, I've smoked cabbage, you name it. Cheese, I smoked a lot of cheese.
Have you done the dip yet with all the cheese and the
Yeah,
queso?
that's what queso and cheese. That's kind of a double smoke.
Yeah. Well, all right. So if you had to survive on one barbecue dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pork ribs.
Okay. So
I was a spare rib guy for many years. And if I can find a good thing back that's got a lot of meat, man, I'm all about it.
So Texas barbecue versus Kansas City, Carolina.
I like parts of all of them. I like the rubs of Texas, with the salt, black pepper. I like the sauces of the Carolinas, I love the mustard-based sauces. I love the vinegar-based sauces. Not big on the Memphis or Kansas City. So.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with the Kansas City when we went up there.
Yeah,
I'm not impressed with Tennessee either.
No, but Texas is beef and brisket. It takes so long, man. It just you got to babysit your fire for 12 hours. Everybody seems to like my brisket. I don't like cooking. It takes me I cook ribs 3 hours.
I know, that's what we did last holiday, man. I cooked ribs, and they were great. Brisket took 18 hours.
Yes. You get one to stall on you, it'll take a while.
So, do you spend the night with the smoker, or you just let it rock along?
I spend the night. I want to sit along for a couple hours. Don't get me wrong, there's been times I didn't wake up.
My last three briskets, I didn't wake up. They weren't very good. This one, I woke up about every hour checking on it. Yeah, man, it's probably one of the best briskets I made.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, Fletcher, I'm going to let you go, man. I'm hungry.
Me too.
Okay. I think we're doing tacos tonight. But Fletch, thanks for joining us. Good luck Friday night against Blue Ridge. Now we're going to go back to the rankings of where we stand from last week. We dropped down to number 7, which I don't care. It don't matter what you are. And so rankings we dropped down. So the top 4 what was so crazy to me. And as Friday night rolled into Saturday, Brody came in. And I'm looking at scores. Top 4 teams got beat. And so, you had Ganado losing to East Bernard 33-12. You had Frio losing to Edna 42-35. We lost to Winsboro 49-21, and then Timpson gets beat by Palestine Westwood 63-34.
It's good you're playing up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. All those games were against higher classifications or teams that were, picked to win. So, but I mean it's good now. I mean, you're getting better. You're getting better, and so we're going to take a small break. Come back. We're going to have senior wide receiver, linebacker, Beta Club vice president, lawnmower. Kendal Wolfe's going to be joining us, but give us about 2 minutes. We'll get Kendal in here and we'll get it going.
Go Warriors.
We're back with senior wide receiver linebacker Kendal Wolfe. Kendal, glad you could join us tonight. We'll go ahead and get started. That way you can get out of here. I know you're a busy man. Kendal, I would say you probably had one of the best personal games I've seen you had on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, that's nothing unusual for you to have a great defensive night.
There we go. Yeah, we're talking.
There we go.
I'm not an audio guy. I'm a video guy. If you didn't hear us the first time, we have Texas Vice President of the Beta Club, Kendal Wolfe. on the show tonight. We'll just recap. Kendal had 150 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 7 tackles. What are some lessons you learned Friday night playing Winsboro?
I mean, it helps us mentally. Third and fourth quarter, we're down. I mean, it helps us mentally tough throughout the game. And it shows us where maybe we need to work on to fix what happened in the game. But we win as a team, we also lose as a team. So we're just going on to the next week.
So you follow the rich history of Honey Grove Beta Club and former students like Hudson Stroud, Ben Patrick, Jonas Butler, Lucas Morrison, Jake Caffey, and become the Texas State Vice President. How exciting was that for you to be nominated the Vice President of Texas?
I mean, it was extremely exciting, especially since, how much work I put in behind the scenes just to see it, come out successful.
Like 9 years, I think. So
yeah.
It was, especially to represent a club like that is a special thing.
So the Beta Club, has a rich history in our school and our community. What are some upcoming events that the Beta Club's got going on?
Next Tuesday, the 24th, we're doing a Red River Valley Senior Citizen Day. We do that every year, and that's always a blast. The students have fun. The people have fun playing bingo. It's a good time. And then we got the Walk for Hope, I think is Saturday, the 28th.
Yep.
And we do stuff all week, backpacks, stuff like that. So we always got something going on.
So right now you have the pink out shirts on sale. I think I saw it's got 8 more days until that sale is over with. And then you have the Davy Crockett Day. You guys are going to have a bounce house up on the square for that. And you got the Walk of Hope on the same day. And then you're going to be at Trunk or Treat at downtown Honey Grove. That's sponsored by one of our sponsors, Small Town Charm. And then you have guys that got a leadership summit on
Cooper Week.
Yep, October 30th, Cooper Week. So we're going to have to get you back real quick on that one, right? So, Kendal, your mom played college sports, played softball, right? How do you think your parents have prepared you for this season and life beyond Honey Grove ISD?
I mean, they've told me just give it my all in everything I really do. That's grades, sports, just anything I do, just give it everything I can. They've just basically taught me I don't get anything I don't earn, and I think I've applied that to this season.
Absolutely. I mean, Kendal, you're just continually every game getting better. I mean, you go from the Hugo game where the kill shot, and then you go to Marlin, and you're put in that role of when Rylan goes down, of having to get in the diesel set, and every game is gradually getting better, and I think this where we're going to be at the end of this year is going to surprise a lot of people. So you work full time for Superintendent Todd Morrison, right? What is a funny story you can tell us about working with Mr. Morrison?
We don't always mow. So the funny story actually isn't mowing.
Okay.
It's we were cleaning out a house one day, and it's a 2-story house, and me and my brother were upstairs, and there's all these different doors. It's all dark, pitch black, and you don't really want to go in it. So I walk downstairs, and Zachary comes. We're cleaning out the carpet, and Zach comes running down there. He's like, "Kendal, there's someone in the house." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? There's someone in the house. I hear him talking." And it was Lucas. There was a different staircase that you couldn't see it, and it was Lucas talking. Zachary was so freaked out. It was hilarious.
Hey, what about the time you had to go get stitches?
Oh, that was a painful story. That wasn't funny for me. It was funny for him.
Yeah.
Mr. Morrison's the one that did that. He slung haywire at my shin.
Yeah.
And it went in there like 2 inches deep.
And wasn't this right before a baseball game?
Yes. And
that's what I thought.
I fell on the ground. He was laughing, and I was like, "Ow!" He was like, "Oh, you're all right." And then he ended up pulling it out. But
so this next question, I'm kind of going to pull at your heartstrings. All right. You and Coach Mack, I would say, probably has a great relationship. probably one of the better that I've seen amongst his guys here. And I think you had something inscribed into your ring, right? But how has he impacted you as a person and player these last 3 years?
As a person, he talks about it all the time, but faithful wise, I mean, he preaches it all the time that it's God that's got us here and
Right.
where he's going to take us, and that really is impactful,
Right.
just spreading that word. But like on my ring says raise the bar, and that has impacted not just me but everyone else to keep going throughout the weeks.
You know, and I think about that quote all the time, raise the bar. And that's not just football, it's life.
Yeah.
You know, raise the bar. You know, be better than you were the day before. You know, and I think about that on so many levels. You know, that's probably why I wear that shirt so often, raise the bar, win 10. But, you know, just as a reminder to, you know, we got to raise that bar in life. You know, and what better way than to have Max say that all the time, right? So when it's all said and done, what do you think you're going to take with you beyond Honey Grove?
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood?
Like we've been saying all year. Brotherhood. I mean, this isn't just a football team, it's a family. We all know everything about each other, and we hang out outside of just football, and that's what.
I mean, you
makes it
guys
so
have been
fun.
together for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Since
think you
Pete
guys
had on-
you guys moved here, what, third grade?
Oh, it's second grade.
Second
when I
grade,
got
third
here.
grade, yeah. That's what I mean. You know, you guys have been, each piece has came together, right? So let's talk about prom. I know this was a long time ago. You know, you showed up in what I felt was probably the coolest ride of the night, right?
Yeah.
Showed up in the diesel,
In the diesel semi.
right? So how did that all come about?
I worked at Hammett, or I did work at Hammett, and I was washing trucks. I would watch all the semi trucks that they got. They got the real nice ones, but I watched that one, and I was like, man, I like the colors of those. And I got to thinking, I was like, a suit in that color would look pretty good too. And then I ended up asking, and I got the green light, and I was like, let's go. So
I mean, that was fun just to sit up there and watch you guys and girls come down, and here comes this diesel.
yeah.
And,
I had the
and you got
lights
to
on.
ride, you know, with your dad. You know, I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty special. You know, I got to share that moment with him, and you know, so that's probably something you're probably always going to remember.
Yeah.
But well, Kendal, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Like I said, I know you're busy, and you know, thank you for joining us tonight. And good luck Friday night against Blue Ridge. And I kind of want you to hang around because I got some Shockley Players of the Week, and so at this time we're going to recognize our Jake Shockley Insurance Players of the Week. Our breakthrough player, who I mentioned a while ago, is going to be Grant Cheney. Grant had the senior DB had 5 tackles. He had 1 pass breakup, and he had 1 interception to help the defense the other night. And then moving along is going to be Levi Beavers. He's going to be our Defensive Player of the Week. That is the 3rd award on Jake Shockley's Players of the Week for Levi. Levi had 16 tackles, 6 solos, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 interception, plus a touchdown on offense. So, and then this week's Jake Shockley MVP of the Week is going to be you. You know, you racked up 150 yards on 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. I was trying to remember today, what was your second touchdown of the night? Was it? I know it was a 90-something yard touchdown. Do you remember?
That was the first one.
That was the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then we hit
The
you in the
second one
corner.
was the last play of the
Okay,
game.
yeah. But how far was the first one?
91.
91. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew it was something there. You know, you played solid on both sides of the ball, 2 touchdowns on defense. You had 7 tackles. So this week, the Jake Shockley MVP of the week is going to be yourself, Kendal Wolfe. Guys, give us a little quick break. We're going to come back with Coach Wiggins, assistant head coach, head track coach, father, son of a butcher. That's what he likes to tell me. And we'll be right back. All right, we're back with Coach Kevin Wiggins, assistant head coach of the Honey Grove Warriors. Coach Wiggins, glad you can join us tonight.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm fired up.
Hey, you got to hold this. There you go.
I figured I was loud enough.
No. So I named off your different titles, right? Assistant head coach, boys track coach, basketball coach, dad, husband, father, tourist, son of a butcher,
Yeah.
right?
Son of a butcher man.
Son of a butcher man, right? So Friday night's going to be a reunion for your crew as we travel to Blue Ridge. You know, you spent, 15 years there?
Yeah, I got there in 2004. Came in as defense coordinator. Was defense coordinator there for 4 years. Got elevated to the head coach and AD spot in 2008. And then stayed 11 years as the AD and head football coach there.
So both of your sons, Brevin and Brody, played for Dad at Blue Ridge and graduated there. You know, how does it feel to step back on the field this time? I know you played Blue Ridge once you were at White Wright, but how does it feel this time coming in with the Warriors?
You know, it's no different. You know, when we got there, you know, one of our philosophies as a family and just as a coach in general is to leave things better than you found it.
Right.
And you know, when I took over, it wasn't the best of places. And you know, one thing we did is, you know, we improved every facility in that place, and you know, we made a brand of football that I thought was respectful. And you know, and you talked earlier about, you know, being 11 years at one place as a head coach is not common anymore.
It's not.
And you know, so I have great memories there, and there's a truly great people in that community. And you know, I always look forward to going back. I get to see old friends,
Right.
Former players, and you know, heck, I'm getting old enough now that some of my former players have kids on the team. You know, so but this team, you know, I've been gone long enough now that none of these guys were even in junior high. You know, they were in 5th and 6th grade.
Right.
You know, so they were in the Pee Wee programs and stuff, and some of the names look familiar, but you know, none of those guys were in my program, if you will.
So how hard is it, and I asked this question, I asked it to Chase and stuff, how hard is it to coach your own kids?
It's a lot harder on them than it is on me.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is it's different, and you don't get to leave the field house and get away from it. You know,
No.
it's at the dinner table. It's at
The
it's
car
on
ride
couch.
home.
Yeah,
Yep. When you wake up.
it's nonstop, and you know, and the expectation, like I said, the expectation for them, you know, when they're seen in the community, when they're in teachers' classrooms, they know I'm an email or a text away
Right.
that you know, I will come and handle business.
So you went to Southeastern Oklahoma State in Durant. You played with Fletch up there. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Put your picture up there.
Had hair like a god.
Yeah. So what position did you play donning the number 84 jersey?
So I was a tight end. So I played my high school ball at Colgate, Oklahoma, and so believe it or not, I was a tailback and played defensive end. And I got recruited as a defensive end, and we went through I got redshirted and went through on the defensive side of the ball, and we had a couple of graduates and an injury and stuff, and they were like, "Hey, you know, we know you played offense in high school." And so I made the move to tight end, and that's where I played my last 4 years.
I did not know that. It's pretty cool. So how did you and Fletch connect in college? I mean, did you guys know each other?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course, we were teammates,
Right.
you know, and you know, whenever Fletch contacted me, you know, about coming to Honey Grove with him and stuff, you know, me and Fletch have had a relationship, you know, way before we were ever in the coaching
Right.
business, you know, and you know, we make jokes and stuff about, you know, we've known each other for over 30 years, and you know, it's not many times that you can say, you know, heck, I used to shower with that guy.
You know, it's so weird because like last week we had Huddy on, right? What is it? 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
6 degrees, I think.
6 degrees. Okay. So I don't know if you heard Huddy talk about this. Like his first start at quarterback was against you.
Yeah, that was, if I remember correctly, it was here. We were in a lightning and rain delay, and this, of course, the facility is nothing like it was
No,
back then.
it was a cow pasture.
So we were, it was slop out there. We went and we were sitting in a weight room / closet, if you will. That was the visiting dressing facility. It was like an old rock-looking dungeon thing. And we sat and waited it out. And we were 6-4 that year at Blue Ridge, and we were in the district with Melissa, Aubrey, Farmersville, Anna, us, and Leonard, I believe it was. And we went 6-4 that year, and our 4 losses were by a combined 9 points. And we came over that night, and the late Mr. Milton's son was on that team, and he kicked a field goal into the wind on a stormy night to beat us. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, I think it was 15-13.
Oh, wow.
And they beat us by 2 points that night. And like I said, we weren't a bad team, and that was when they only took 3 teams to the playoffs. So we got to sit home. Every team in our district went at least 3 rounds deep, and I believe a team in our district wound up beating out Honeygrove that year in Aubrey.
Yep.
And I believe they beat them out in the 3rd round. And then, of course, the next year, Farmersville won the state championship.
So what has been the most important lesson you've learned from working with all the different coaching staffs over the years?
You're never too old to learn, That's the thing about leading a program. And, I was very fortunate, I know Coach Fletcher talked about he's playing against Coach Fielden, who was his right-hand man for 9 years, and I had those guys, Andrew Carlson was my offense coordinator, and he was with me for 12 years. And, I had a defense coordinator that was with me for 8 years. And when you get guys that buy into your system and what your brand of football is, and you have the same terminology and the same communication and the same message, it's important. And I think that was one of the things that I tried to bring coming in here to be with Coach Fletcher is, make sure I echo his message and make sure, I've been in his seat before.
Right.
Try to make his job easier. And, I told her titles aren't important to me, and I just want to come in and coach ball and build relationship with kids and try to make your job easier. And if that's, making sure we have post-game meals on road trips or whatever, that's something that's easily done, but it takes something off his plate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even last year during the historic run, I think you were setting up the interviews with Dave Campbell's and Matt Stepp and, and all those guys. And, that takes a lot. That's a lot to balance, your coaching job, your teaching job, home life, stuff like that, So you and your wife, Brooke, love traveling.
Yeah, it's, that's the thing, I call her my Oklahoma Smoke Show, but me and her grew up in our tribal towns. So our towns, Atoka and Colgate, 13 miles apart.
Yeah.
And so that last weekend, the Boggy Bottom Bowl, it was the 112th meeting. It's one of the longest rivalries in the state of Oklahoma or whatever. So, like, we're rivals, right? And, you go into college and, start seeing people in other lights and stuff. So me and her started dating on August 4th, 1995. And, of course, I was still playing college ball. And, people underestimate what it takes to be a coach's wife. And, she kind of got a glimpse of it early on.
Yeah.
Because being a college football player, people, they see you on Saturday or whatever, but they don't see the week prior.
Right.
6:30 weights, and you go to class from 8 to noon. Well, at 1 o'clock you got treatment in the training room. At 2 o'clock you got film, and then 2:30 practice starts. Then you get done with practice at 5:30. And then guess what? You watch practice film of that, and so trying to juggle that and have a relationship and. Then you become a coach, and my first job, I moved her 8.5 hours away from her family.
Oh, wow.
So we started off in Southeast Texas, down in the Beaumont area, and you're around us long enough to know that, like, maybe put in hours.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like, I drove by Sunday, and of course you guys were at church, but I guarantee you're going to be here by 1:30. And then when I came home, probably about 9:30, y'all just left.
Yeah.
And so I mean that's Saturday too. I
Yeah.
mean y'all are up here.
We start, and me and Brack spent the night here Friday night.
Well, I figure. I mean that's
Yeah.
always I always wonder who's spending the night after a game, and so it's I was like, well, all right, is Fletch going to get in there and sleep on the couch? And
I took the couch Friday night. Brack's had the air mattress in the JV locker room. We had a camp out.
Have to get you a TV up here, Brax.
Yeah.
Get you a TV so you can watch some stuff.
But going back to Brooke, she's been with me. She's been a head coach's wife, which is it's even different than just being an assistant.
That's
coach's
probably even
wife.
harder.
Yeah, it's hard, and and that's why a lot of times you see her on the sideline with a really expensive camera.
Yep.
Because
you don't want to sit in the crowd.
yeah, you don't want people. You don't want to be around people that and it's not always that way. But when stuff isn't going right,
Yeah.
it all falls on the head coach. And we have thick skin, but I don't expect her to have the same
No,
skin.
not at all.
But yeah, she's been a phenomenal mom to my 3 boys, and her being the only woman in the house, well, she's special, boy.
Yeah. I mean, I recognize that when we all stayed at College Station. Yeah. But what has been a trip that went completely wrong that is now one of your favorite travel stories?
Well, and, of course, coming up as a coach, especially early on and having a young family and stuff, travel is like when you move 8.5 hours away, your trips are going back home to see family. You know? But once we got older and got a little more established, like I'm the budget traveler. And people's like, God, you go here and there and there. Like, it's called Want to Get Away on Southwest.
Yeah.
And I tell people, it's like, man, I flew to freaking Boston for $79.
You ever take Spirit?
No, I'm Southwest. I'm not that cheap.
You're not that cheap.
Yeah, but and we've been to Vegas. We've been to Boston. We went to Memphis. We went to New Orleans. This summer we just got back from Salt Lake City, and we try to, our family loves history, and we try to go to somewhere different we haven't ever been and just see the sights, and we've been to Washington D.C. and just being around different, we talk about Boston all the time and how we just kind of lucked into. I found, like I said, $79 tickets to Boston.
Yeah.
And
did you go to a Red Sox game?
So it was in the winter. But we did go to Fenway. We went to a Celtics game in the Garden.
That's awesome.
We watched Celtics versus the Pistons, and at the Boston Garden. I scalped some tickets on the side of the street. We're in the nosebleeds, but like I said, we're in the Garden, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the history.
Well, and that's kind of when, like, one time me and Brody went out to L.A. and we ended up watching the Lakers and the Warriors play. I mean, it's just the history. It don't matter if you're a fan or not.
Exactly.
Go do those things. Go watch those games. Go to those places that, you've seen on TV.
But we talk about that trip to Boston a lot, and that was one of the very first trips and getaways that we had. But, the Freedom Trail and going and walking, and there's like, everywhere you can go, you can just get on a subway. Right. So we flew in, got a subway to our hotel, got a 7-day subway pass, and just everywhere you want to go. And we went to Harvard and walked on the Harvard Square.
Yeah.
Of course, anywhere we go, I'm going to go to check out the college football facilities or whatever. But you go to Harvard Stadium, that's one of 3 stadiums that's the National Historic Landmark.
Oh, yeah.
Harvard,
that's one of the very first football teams.
Yeah, exactly. And so being able to, get on the field and do different things like that, man, is,
we went to Ohio State one time, and they were playing out of town, and we're just walking around the horseshoe. I didn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm there. I wanted to see it. So, do you have a bucket list destination you hadn't checked off yet?
Well, we try to be conscious of where we go. So I've never been to New York City.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that you feel like you need to go. I want to go see the 9/11. I want to take my wife to see a show on Broadway.
See, we went, and of course, Bo was little, and it was.
But also, don't want to die.
Yeah, and we did the subway in New York, and that was kind of crazy and chaotic, and And then we went to the Empire State Building. Of course, I'm terrified of heights, and so
But you respect gravity.
I do. You know, this is gonna hurt when it falls. You know, but Bo, I think, was like 2 or 3, and so him and Brody and another family went to the top of the Empire State Building. That was cool, and it was just so chaotic that we forgot to go to the 9/11 Memorial.
Yeah.
It was just so chaotic. Got to see Yankee Stadium. We were leaving we actually drove to New York. Brody had an event up there in New York playing baseball, and so we drove the 24-hour trip and got to see Yankee Stadium as we were leaving New York. But I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. But
It's one of those things. You know, I've been to a lot of different states, and we've stayed in a lot of different cities, and you know, I've never been to L.A. and I don't know if I want to, but it's one of those things, man. It's like San Francisco. I don't
see, I
wanna
went to L.A. twice, and the first time I was amazed. Let me tell you this story. So I'll give you this story. So when you go to L.A. and you go down Rodeo Drive and down Hollywood and all that, do not take a picture with anybody that's dressed as a character.
They're going to charge you.
Well, I didn't know that.
That same way in Vegas.
And so we get there, and me and Brody's just walking around, and Superman comes up, and I'm excited, man, because we left DFW. It was snowing, and we get out to L.A. and it's 68 degrees, and I'm just excited, and we're just walking down Hollywood, and Superman comes up. Hey, let me take your picture. So I give him my phone. He's like, $50. I'm like, what? I was like, I'm not giving you $50. He's like, well, I'm not giving you your phone back. I was like, hey, you are.
We're going to have problems.
So, but I always said, don't let somebody take your picture. But it was fun. So you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan too.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, I think y'all went to the College World Series, the Women's College World Series, and you know, you guys had a heck of a time there watching the Sooners win another national championship. And you know, how do you think the Sooners are going to do in the SEC this year?
You know, it's different. It's a different ball. In some sports, it's not going to be any different.
Right.
But you know, I think
basketball will be the same.
Yeah.
Baseball will be the same.
Exactly. And I mean, make no mistake about it. There's some great SEC baseball teams, and there's some great SEC softball teams and stuff like that. But out of conference and stuff, they've played higher level.
Yeah.
I think the football. I think the biggest thing is, and on any given year, you know, teams can be up and down or whatever, but there's no Iowa States. There's no Kansases on the schedule. I mean, week in, week out, you have to be prepared. You have to build your depth differently, which I think OU is really struggling with now with their offensive line depth. And, you know, they got a couple of receivers that are out. You know, just building the depth to be able to do that week in, week out and just play that physical just –
because I mean, even Kentucky used to be the stepping stones in the SEC, and I mean they almost beat the national champion. I mean they got beat by 1 this weekend.
Yeah, and you get that pick 6 overturned. You know that I mean, my college coach and Coach Fletcher's college coach. You know, he always talked about the outcome of the game usually hinges on 3 or 4 plays. Yeah. You know, and how you respond, and it may not necessarily be that play, but it's how you respond to that play or how you come back from that play when something goes bad. And you know, and I've been around other coaches that a lot of times it's fractions of inches and fractions of seconds. Yeah. And you put things into that play, into that perspective, and when we talk to these guys about going in and playing every play like it's the last, and play every play like the outcome of the game hinges on this particular play. And there's a lot of truth to that. You go week in, week out, and how these close games and overtimes, and you go back and look.
Well, it's just like our game Friday night. I mean, we set up a scoring opportunity from the half-inch yard line because the ball stopped before the end zone.
And I was talking to the guy that basically didn't call it back, and he said it's crazy. He said that ball was coming straight at it, and as it started slowing down, it turned.
Yeah.
And it stayed there. And, we've got guys that, that game right there is going to give us so much experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Down the road. And I think, stuff like that you can build off of, but you take away that, heck, we may go into halftime with the lead, 8-7. or 8-6 or whatever, whatever it may be. Everybody that watched the game, we started getting wore down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to show their sidelines. I think I counted like 50 on their
Oh, I
sideline.
mean,
we suited up 22.
And that's what I tell people, and they're like, well, how's the game going to go? Well, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game because when they have 50 kids and we only have 22 to 25, I mean, our guys are going to be tired.
That and, a lot of times, especially up front,
Yeah.
when they roll out 5 offensive linemen and they send 4 more defensive linemen, at change of possession or whatever. But I think in that first half we showed spurts of, hey, we belong in this game.
Yeah.
And, and I'm sure Coach Fletcher mentioned it. And you look over on the sideline and me, I coach the back end and they, everybody's like, oh, that's the secondary coach. But I look over and I have 3, 4, and 5 are on the sideline, and 11, Lucas, who was a key, our rover key player last year, he's off to college, and I got 4 new guys in the back end.
Yeah.
And so experience like that in the big games, even the week before when we played Marlin, and
So the Marlin game, Winsboro game, Blue Ridge game is probably going to be the most passing we're probably going to see until the playoffs.
Well, and I know Rivercrest.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I
They
haven't
got
got
their-
to see them on film, but last year they threw it a lot.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I charted a lot of passes this weekend, and it's
So we were at 70 when me and you talked on the sideline Friday night. Where are we up?
109 through 3 games is what I charted. So
Phew.
yeah, so I mean they throw it a lot. I think the final tally is around 58% pass and 42% run,
And they got some guys on the front end or on the line too. I mean, I think they got one that's committed to
I think
Sam Houston.
Yeah, Sam Houston. He's a big-bodied kid, and that's going to be fundamentally sound, and obviously, pretty good player. To have a D1 offer. And,
Yeah.
and they've got some other pieces. It's not just a one-man show,
Right.
and the quarterback spins a
I
really
think he
good ball.
threw for like 2,000 yards last year.
Yeah, and he's been in that program a long time, and so they got a receiver, they got a slot that is real wiry and has good hips on him, and he can scoot a little bit out there, and they distribute the ball all over the field, and so we're going to have our hands full.
So you coached a lot of things. So what sport was your first love?
Well, so I was fortunate to have some great high school coaches, and so that's, I see just how much fun they had and how they, reacted to me and just bonded with me throughout high school, and then, so I was like, man, I'm going to go to college and be a coach, and
Yeah.
of course football was always my first love. And
Okay.
so went of course played college ball, and then our college coach Morris Sloan, he's in several different Hall of Fames, and just his overall approach to coaching, and basically, you put X's O's aside, man. He was in the people business, man. And
Yeah.
he built people, and just
And I could say that's what you and Fletch and Mac. I mean, this whole coaching staff is about
and
coaching people.
yeah. If you worry more about building the man than building the football player, we're gonna be all right. And
Yeah.
so just being around him, and I had the honor to when he got inducted into the Southeastern Hall of Fame, and I was his presenter, and I still get emotional just thinking about it. It's like all the players that he had coached throughout his career as the head coach at Southeastern. Man, he picked me, just
Yeah.
a little old dude from Colgate, Oklahoma, and he's coached all these All-Americans and this, that, and other. But he's still a mentor to this day to me, and me and a group of guys. We spend some time with him during the summer. This year we went to Lake Texoma and got an Airbnb out there, and we just grilled and chilled and played cards.
That's awesome.
And then, of course, every New Year's Day, there's a group of us, and we go watch college bowl games with him on New Year's Day. And he's just an awesome guy.
So that's probably been one of your best coaching memories. I wrote that question. What's your favorite coaching memory of all time? But I mean, that sounds like that's up there.
It's all part of all part of the story, man. We come in and we're basically filling out our resume every day, and we come in and we put in and we try to pour into these guys and just make sure that they do the right thing.
Right.
It comes down to that. But as far as coaching wise, I mentioned I started out in Beaumont, Texas, and I got stories about where we're down in the swamp, man.
Yeah.
And kids throwing live alligators in the bed of my truck and say, "Hey, coach, there's something in the back there."
Like
for you."
off's not going to kill the mosquitoes.
They're the size of hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's like it's called marsh spray, right?
Yeah, we had Brevin when we lived down there, and he couldn't play outside. So Brooke would take him to like McDonald's had the indoor playland.
Yeah.
That she'd take him, and go there. And so we coached North Houston in between Conroe and Huntsville, in the Sam Houston National Forest, and just we lived in Huntsville, and like you drive to work, and there may be like people marching outside because the Walls unit's there in downtown Huntsville.
Yeah.
And we drive by it, and there'd be CNN trucks. Somebody's fixing to get electrocuted or get on death row, and this, that, and other. And there's people marching and chanting.
Oh,
and
God.
There's all these satellite trucks, and I mean, it's just stories that that go along with the game of football.
Yeah.
But it's more about the game of life, man. We got to experience things that, as a young couple and as a young family, like, man, we were so poor, but hey, one of the kids was like, "Hey, can I borrow your cast net?" And we'd go and we'd catch shrimp out in the jetty, and like you go buy a $2 pack of turkey necks and with a Snoopy pole and catch blue crabs and have a crab boil, and it's just like, hey, for $2, we're having a party.
Yeah. So, what has been one of the single best performances you've ever witnessed firsthand as a coach?
Well, I've been a lot of different places or whatever, and I've got to see people I've coached against.
Mm-hmm.
When I was down in Deweyville, we played a school called Hemp Hill, and they had a center named Ben Wilkerson. Wound up going to LSU, won the Lombardi, the Remington Trophy for the best
For offensive
center,
lineman.
and went and played in the league. I mean, and he would go and he would like hit a defensive tackle, knock him down, then go and lead up on linebacker and knock him down. And
Then go to the secondary.
Yeah, and then he's getting somebody in the safety, whatever. He's just nasty. And when we, you even go. I believe Terry Bussey is going to be special.
Yeah.
You're just now getting a glimpse of he's a special player, and you go and so you name all those, but then you look at like the performance Ryland had against Centerville last year.
Yep.
And that's a special performance.
Yeah.
I mean, you go and you look at some of the numbers that Levi Beavers puts up, and you look at like our front seven, some of the things that they do defensively, and the pressure we put on people and make people tap out. Like, I mean, it's crazy, and so it just keeps adding to. This is year number 26 for me, and I'm trying to come in and learn new things and be coachable because you do things your way for 19 years.
Yeah.
And then now you're coming into someone. This is the way they do it.
Right.
You don't want to be the anchor, man. You want to be the float.
Absolutely. So what is on Kevin Wiggins' playlist?
Man, I listen to hardcore hip hop rap.
I knew we were like.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
There we go. Tupac?
Yeah, love it. Dre, Biggie.
What about Mystical?
Yeah. So,
You know any of those guys?
No, but like one of my college teammates, Pete Spratt. So he was an All-American at Southeastern, fought 7 times in the UFC, and he was a rapper. The 903 Players. Look it up.
903.
Out of Sherman, Texas.
All right.
Now, you're talking about old school rap.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So what would be a message that you'd want to tell this team before district starts next week?
One day at a time, one practice at a time. You're trying to get this much better every day.
Right.
At the end of the week, you're this much better.
Yep.
when we start district play, we're this much better. And hopefully when it's all said and done, we're pretty dang good.
Yep.
But you got to continue to try to get better every day. Once again, Coach Sloan told us all every day, you do one or two things every day, you get better, you get worse. There's no staying the same because you had the opportunity to get better.
Right.
You do one or two things every day. And so I think if you come in with that approach, and you got to be careful because this is week 4. It seems like 2 weeks ago we were in College Station at State Center.
Oh, I know.
And if you do the math and you don't want to hear this, hard practices are on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursdays, walk the field, walk through, kick the field. Hayes in the barn Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
You have 21 practices left as a senior.
Yep.
That's guaranteed.
Yep.
And none of them are guaranteed.
No, not at all. And I mean, that's the conversation I have with mine, and that's every practice, every game is a gift. I pray for that for these guys every week, that they'll be able to get there, and praying for you guys.
Well, I appreciate it.
That we're gonna get to the end. So, son of a butcher, I love that story. We sat around the table that night at College Station, and the next morning, I think Greg and Rebecca and my Becca got up and cooked breakfast, and
Had bacon.
And all the boys had already got all the meat. And
Bacon left. Me and Fletcher had to go.
yeah, you had to go get your own meat.
Work, and we had to fill out stuff for State 7-on-7, which we stayed about 7 miles away from the fields and stuff. So we just ran over there, and I got a text from Brooke. She's like, "Hey, there's no meat left." So listen, being a son of a butcher, it wasn't a meal unless it had meat.
Right.
There was no, "Hey, go have a bowl of cereal or whatever." It's sausage, bacon,
Right.
ham. There's meat every meal. And she's like, "They're out of meat."
We cooked a lot of meat that morning.
Them dudes can eat bacon. Well,
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, it's probably the greatest breakfast item ever created.
Oh, absolutely. I could eat bacon all the time.
Yeah, so I went and got 3 pounds of bacon for me and Fletch. And,
Y'all killed it.
yeah, it was good. And I'm pretty sure it's good for you. I like the way it makes my skin feel.
Oh, absolutely. So I talked barbecue with Fletch a while ago. Who's the better cook, you or him?
Fletch is good. His mustard sauce, and I know that it's just part of the equation.
Yeah.
His mustard sauce, we could bottle it and make a fortune. His mustard sauce is excellent. But, I was sitting there listening, and, I've got to travel a little bit and be a different, and being a coach, you go to all different places in
Right.
Texas or whatever. And I was sitting there putting together, Hutchins is a good barbecue. Franklin's down in Austin. Terry Black's in Lockhart.
Yep.
Creek's Market, and their sausage there is excellent. It used to be Oklahoma Joe's, but it started offending people in Kansas City. Now it's Kansas City Joe's.
Yeah.
It's like a gas station, but it's some of the best ribs.
See, I'm not a rib guy.
Oh, man, that's how you judge me.
I know, but I'm a brisket guy,
I love brisket. You go to Franklin Barbecue or Terry Black's Barbecue, and their brisket, Texas brisket is better than anybody else.
oh, absolutely, all day.
But those ribs in Kansas City, man.
But I first started having ribs when I went to Tennessee, and they were horrible.
Well,
And I think that ruined me.
well, and
And they were so bland.
So I've had Rendezvous Barbecue in Memphis or whatever, and it's different. It's a different style.
Yeah.
Those are charcoal ribs.
Yeah.
It's just, but Texas brisket. And my father was from South Carolina, so Carolina barbecue is a little different.
Vinegars.
Yeah, vinegar
Right.
based, and so I've got a little homemade barbecue, vinegar based barbecue.
See, we're just gonna have to swap because I have like a cinnamon, apple flavored barbecue that I love. I mean, I put it on a baked potato. Oh
well,
man,
you also put A1 on a baked potato.
I do. But, that's just I'm weird like that. I like sauces, right? So, what would be your number one side to go with your barbecue? Are you a potato salad guy, mac and cheese, beans?
All the above. I mean, you don't get too 65 like not eating sides.
Right?
But I'm a meat and potatoes guy.
Yeah. Cornbread or slice of bread?
Love cornbread. I love yeast rolls. I love white bread. Yeah, I love food. Man, I'm a foodie, and that's the thing too. We go back. I keep going back to traveling or whatever. Man, you go to diners, drive-ins, and dives or whatever. Hey, we're going to this city. Where have they been?
Yeah.
And so when we were in Salt Lake, we went to this place called Ruth's Diners, and it's in the mountains there in Salt Lake, and they had biscuits that big.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, so good, so good. I'm a big foodie, man.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that some more. So sauce, no sauce.
If it's cooked right, you don't need sauce.
You're right.
But there's nothing wrong with a little accoutrement in there that, you get a pulled pork and, man, you know what? It's good. Pulled pork nacho stuff. But you get a little different sauce on it, it changes.
No,
It's
absolutely.
It's a different meal.
So sweet or hot?
I like it both. I like a little twang to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing, Fletcher's mustard sauce with like pulled pork, it's phenomenal.
Man, we're missing out.
Yeah, it's good. Anytime he makes it, I have him make me a separate bottle to take home.
Well, that's usually what I do with the apple cinnamon. So, well, Wiggins,
Yeah.
thank you, man.
Told you I was fired up.
Hey, man, I enjoyed this one. Hey, it's all right. We're gonna get it wrapped up, and right now we're gonna talk about our spotlight of the week. Our business spotlight of the week is going to be the Credit Union of Texas, located at 410 North Center Street in Bonham, Texas. These guys offer personal banking. They provide all the essential banking services, including checking, savings account with competitive rates, credit cards, loans. Their online and mobile banking platforms make managing your finances easy and convenient. They also do auto loans and financing. One of their standout offerings is their auto loans with flexible terms and competitive rates, whether you're buying a new car or a used vehicle or refinancing an existing loan. Credit Union of Texas works to find the solutions that fit your needs. You have a home loan or a mortgage. They also provide a variety of home loan options, including mortgages, refinancing, and home equity loans, making it easier for Texans to achieve their home ownership dreams. Wow, I just butchered that. Oh, man. Business services for small business owners. Credit Union of Texas offers specialized business banking services such as checking accounts, commercial loans, and merchant services to help manage and grow your business. They also are community focused. I know that I've seen them out here a few times, but beyond financial services, Credit Union of Texas is deeply involved in the local community. They support various charitable initiatives and educational programs, demonstrating their commitment to making a positive impact in the area they serve. And then with a member-first approach, flexible financial products, and a strong commitment to the community, the Credit Union of Texas continues to be a trusted partner for Texas looking to build a secure financial future. So they are going to be our Week 4 Business Spotlight of the Week. And we're going to take a quick break and then come out with the ending of the Week 4 of the Shane Fletcher Show. All right, we're going to wrap it up here on the Coach Fletcher Show. Let's talk about Thursday night. Thursday night, the junior high will kick off at 5 p.m. at Warrior Stadium with the 7th grade taking on Blue Ridge. That's going to be followed by the 8th grade at 6 p.m., and then the JV is going to be starting around 7:30. The student section for Friday night is going to be let's hunt down the Tigers, wear camo. So wear your camo gear to the game. I'd like to also recognize our cross-country team this past weekend in the Trenton Invitational. The varsity boys placed second overall with Rodolfo Santabayez. Our kicker placing first overall. Andrew Womack came in second. Wyatt Ellis placed 8th. On the girls' side, Caitlin Clark and Ruby Thomas medaled, placing 12th and 13th overall. Next week's episode of the Shane Fletcher Show is going to be homecoming week. It's his favorite time of the year, homecoming. And so we'd like to congratulate our 3 nominees, Blair Odom, Macy Ragland, and Alyssa Gilbert on being named Homecoming Queen nominees. We're going to try to get these ladies in here next week during their busy schedule, and we're going to talk to them about Homecoming Week. Going to thank Coach Fletcher, Kendal, Wolfe, Coach Wiggins, our business spotlight of the week, the Credit Union of Texas, without all of our, and then plus all of our other sponsors. Let me go through the list real quick. We got the Hidden Grove RV Park, Small Town Charms, Whitlock Air Services, The Rails, Jake Shockley Insurance, Credit Union of Texas, Bryant Construction, the Trailer Guys, Bloodworth Services, the Honey Grove Library and Learning Center, Tyndall Meat Company, Moe's Trophies, Salon L, the First Baptist Church of Honey Grove, Moon Mart, Cattlemen's Livestock Commission, Right On Roofing out of Celeste, Texas, Eagerly Sought, Anna Deckert Realtor, 903 Threads, Ted Farner with the Farm Bureau, Gaither's Complete Welding, Fannin Bank, FBC Roofing, Matlock Cattle Company, Rapid Relief IV, Mobile IV, Massey Monument Leveling, and Lighting Services. Without our sponsors, none of this could be possible. But, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. And remember, go Big Orange and Warriors fight. And, guys, have a great night.